Fluid conditioning through filters and strainers. So we are going to condition the fluid with the help of filters as well as the strainers. So mainly these filters and strainers are used in order to remove the foreign particles from the hydraulic fluid. The filters are used in order to retain the insoluble contaminants from the fluid with the help of some porous medium, and the smallest size particle which can be removed is as small as 1 micron in the case of filters. Similarly, in the case of strainers, which are going to use for the coarse which is called as a coarse filter, and whose function is to remove the larger particles. Coarse means the larger particles, and the smallest particle that can be removed with the help of a strainer is 150 microns or 0.15 mm. A classification of filter will be doing based on the amount of oil filtered as well as based on the filtering method. So based on the filtering method, we are having the mechanical, absorbent, and lastly the adsorbent. So in the case of mechanical filtration, we will be having the number of wires as horizontal wires as well as the number of vertical wires. So the gap between these wires or the each square block is going to represent the size of the particle, dirt particle, that has to be restricted. So that is in the case of a mechanical. So this is just a mesh which is going to retain the dirt particle larger than the mesh size, and it is going to allow the smaller particles than the mesh size. That is in the case of mechanical. And in the case of absorbent, we will be using the cotton cloth or the asbestos or the cellulose, and we will be pouring the hydraulic oil from the top. It is going to retain, the surface is going to retain the dirt particle, and the filtered out oil will be collected in the container or the reservoir. So the dirt particles will be settled on the top surface of these material, such as the cellulose, cotton, which is impregnated with the resin, as well as some of the cloths. And in the case of adsorbent, which is the surface phenomenon, I will be having one surface which is consisting of the number of holes, number of smaller pores, which is utilized for the filtration unit. So whenever I will be pouring the hydraulic oil surrounding of this filter, then with the help of these smaller pores, the hydraulic oil will be filtered, and that will be collected at the bottom. And it is a surface phenomenon which is going to attract the dirt particles. So next is, based on the amount of oil filtered, we will be classifying the filters as a full flow filters as well as the proportional or the bypass filter. In the case of full flow filters, we are going to filter the complete amount of hydraulic fluid. As we can see in the case of this diagram, the oil which is entering from the inlet, that is going to be sent at the bottom of this bulb, and from the periphery, at the periphery we will be having the filtering element or the mesh element. With the help of this filtering element, the oil is going to be filtered out, and that will be sent from the outlet side. So we are not going to bypass only a portion of the oil, we are going to send a complete oil. So whatever the oil will be having will be circulating, the whole amount of oil is going to be filtered out. So these are some of the important points of the full flow filter, and it is also an efficient filter. But the one drawback of this one is there is a large pressure drop. So because of this filtering element or the mesh, we will be getting the high or the increase in the pressure drop. That is the drawback in the case of full flow filter. Whereas in the case of the proportional filter, here only a small portion of the oil will be filtered out, and that will be sent, and that will be again sent along with the full flow, whatever that is sending from X cross section to Y in turn to Z. So in a regular operation, the complete hydraulic fluid will be flowing from X to Y, Y to Z with the help of Venturi. Along with this one, only a small portion of the oil will be bypassed from cross section X, and that will be filtered out here, and that will be again connected at a Y cross section. That is only a small amount of volume which is going to be filtered, not completely. This is in the case of proportional filters. What are the different sources of contamination we are having? The contaminants may be generated in the case of assembly as well as during the maintenance work. That may be generated during the operation, during piston and cylinder reciprocation. Some of the wear particles are going to generate, and formation of the sludges, the rust which is also generated due to the oxidation. Those are all considered as a contaminants of the hydraulic system. And some of the contaminants we may introduce from the external source, that is while pouring the contaminated hydraulic oil into the reservoir, that is called as a topping up. That is nothing but we are externally pouring the contaminated hydraulic oil into the reservoir or the system. So what is the problem that is caused by these contaminants in the case of hydraulic fluid? The first one is it is going to accelerate the component wear and decreases the service life as well as the performance of a particular hydraulic system. And due to the sludges operation, there will be a friction generation which is going to increase the temperature, which in turn sees the whole hydraulic system. It also damages the seals, which results in the leakage of the system, and it also acts as a catalyst to accelerate the hydraulic fluid oxidation, as well as it is going to shorten the fluid life and reducing the useful operating temperature. Operating temperature of the oil is going to be reduced below the temperature range. So those are some of the problems encountered by the contaminants. Next, how to control those contaminants? By properly using the pipes, tubings, fittings reasonably, which is free from the rust, scale as well as the dirt and other foreign material. This is the one precaution what we should take in order to control the contamination. Next one, before operating the hydraulic system, we should flush the same hydraulic system with the help of the oil what we are using for the actual working. So that is one more precaution what we should take in order to control the contamination. The next one is filtering the oil before using it to minimize the introduction of the contaminants into the system from externally. Provide continuous protection from airborne contamination by sealing the hydraulic system or installing air filter or a breather. We should seal the reservoir completely. Even a small amount of air molecules should not enter into the system. So in some cases, due to the pressure difference in the reservoir, we may use a one hole which is called as the breather, which is attached on the top of the cap. So that is how we are going to control the contamination. Along with this one, we can clean, or sometimes if it is not possible to clean, we may go for replacing the filtering element on the routine basis, because the candles whatever we are using here, the filtering elements whatever we are using, the holes of that, but the pores or the holes of that particular element are going to be completely blocked. So we need to go for routine cleaning as well as replacing. Next one is heat exchangers. The heat exchangers are nothing but exchanging the heat from the atmosphere to the working fluid or working fluid to the atmosphere. So in order to achieve the steady state of a hydraulic fluid, we are going to discuss the two terminologies, that is rate of heat generation as well as the rate of heat dissipation. So these two are the important terms with which we are going to discuss the heat exchangers, right? So in some cases the rate of heat generation will be very high compared to the rate of heat dissipation, right? The amount of heat which will be liberated will be more compared to the amount of heat which will be dissipated, because of which there will be an increase in the temperature of a particular hydraulic fluid. In order to reduce the temperature of that hydraulic fluid, we are inserting the coolers. We are putting the coolers into the hydraulic oil in order to reduce the temperature. That is called as the heat exchangers. That is called as the heat exchangers. Along with this one, in some cases we may have the lesser temperature which is even below 0 degrees Celsius. In the temperature which is below 0 degrees Celsius, we will be having the lesser rate of heat liberation than the heat dissipation. How much amount of heat that will be liberated, which is very low compared to the heat dissipation? In that case we are going to add the heaters. In that case we are going to add the heaters, and this is also called as the heat exchangers. So either that may be coolers in the case of the increase in the temperature of hydraulic fluid, or that may be a heater in the case of a lesser temperature of the hydraulic fluid. That means we should have the nominal or the normal temperature, which is going to affect mainly the viscosity, right? Thank you for watching.